Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm so glad you're watching this. So, welcome to my channel. Today, I just want to talk about just the goodness of the Lord and sharing it with others. Um, so, in a previous video I'd done, I'd shared how, you know, somewhere God was sending me seemed so bleak. And so today I woke up and I was like, I need to find out the good stories that are in that country. And so I went on, I got on the search engines of various social media, and it literally brought the worst headlines I could even imagine. I was so shocked. But then as I'm just scrolling, it's like God answered my prayer, and I got to see such wonderful testimonies of restoration, and they just came to my feed. This one of the stories was a brother helping out his sister, renovate her home, and his how he does it and how much care he puts into it. And I was like, I was so touched. Another was a testimony of a daughter reuniting with her father, and how they're all living together even with her children. So now this man was saying how he thought he was gonna just die an old man alone, but now he has a daughter and then he has 3 grandkids, and it was so beautiful, and so many beautiful stories that came up, and of just resilience and hope. And I felt so good, I felt so encouraged, because the other thing I also got from the Lord is to be praying over these things, because even as if you have read the Bible, and if you haven't, I encourage you to. The book of Daniel and the book of Revelation talks about some kingdoms that will be on earth that won't be great. Yeah, they are not going to be up to any good. They're going to be persecuting the saints. They're going to, sort of destroy the earth. They're just, and when you think about what's happening in the world today, even it doesn't matter which country you're in, there's inflation, there's economic problems, there's poverty, there's people having to work harder to afford things they used to, and it just seems so tough and so bleak. But that's because those are the kingdoms of the world. They're not godly kingdoms. But I am encouraged when I remember the story of Moses and the story of the children of Israel when they were in Egypt. Do you know when the plagues were happening in Egypt, they were not happening where the Israelites were? Do you know that the place where they were was secure, and so the plagues were not reaching them there? And so we can be encouraged as believers that even when we are in bleak situations, bleak places that seem to have no hope, and things happening over and over that are not great, that are not standard, that are looking like they're going against us, that God will preserve us in those times. And the God who created us didn't make a mistake by placing us in that particular year, in that particular season, in that particular place, and that He will make a way for us, because He's sovereign. When you again read Daniel and even Revelation, and Ezekiel as well, the description of the throne of God, I mean, that's not, you cannot compare that with the earthly kingdoms, the power, the might, the greatness, the splendor, the majesty, the awe of who He is. Like, He is not unable to preserve us in whichever place we are in, and in whichever situation that we are in. He's not unable to protect us in that. He is able to do that. Think about Daniel, the den of lions, literally. Because where I am from, I can actually visit a park and see these lions. I would definitely not get out of the car to go touch the lion. But here was Daniel being thrown in actually an enclosure with the lions, and he is not harmed. So that's the kind of God we believe in, the kind of God who would protect us and preserve us, because he made the animals and he's able to control them and tell them, nope, you're not going to eat my child, you're not going to destroy my child, you're going to be here, and you're not going to harm them. Think about Daniel and the other Hebrew boys being in a place where they're describing the people who are there, magicians, sorcerers, all forms of opposite of what is godly, but they're surviving there and actually being promoted. I mean, how amazing is that? So today I just want to encourage you, even as I encourage myself, that the place where God has placed us or is sending us, He's able to preserve us even in that place, no matter how bad it looks. And for me, you see, I was seeing how every day I'm just seeing worse and worse headlines, and I was wondering, really, is this it? But then now I find stories of hope from the same area, and I feel so encouraged. And I just want to encourage you as well, that no matter the situation that you're in, God sees you, and God is able to keep you in that situation for however long He determines you should be there. And in the next place that He sends you, He will have sent His angels ahead of you to prepare a place for you, and you will thrive even there. Yeah? So you will thrive here and you will thrive there. The other thing I want to encourage you on is, if you've been praying for a breakthrough, and I had someone say this, the breakthrough starts within. Yeah? You can imagine if you've been praying for a certain position, but your mindset is still on a level that is lower. So your mindset needs to change. Who you are needs to change, and how you show up needs to change, so that you can occupy that particular place. So the breakthrough will start with you. Then now it can shift to where you need to be and into what you need to be doing. And so in all these things, we can rely on the Son of God, we can rely on Jesus, and He says He's the bread of life. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And when we come to Him, we can be assured that He has a plan for us, and He has made accommodations for us. You know, when you're making an application and they ask, do you require further accommodation, even as you apply for this role or anything like that, He's already made the accommodation for you, because He's loved you. Even before you came to Him, He still loved you. He didn't say, I won't do it. But instead, He went to the cross for you and for me, even before He knew whether we would accept. Of course, He knew, because He knows the future, He knows everything. But for us, while we were still struggling with sin, He still loved us even then. And now He still loves us, and then He wants us to reach our brothers and sisters. Last night I was listening to this hymn for Amazing Grace, and there is this verse that says, I wanted to sing, but my voice, when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as this, okay, you know that verse, yeah? I don't want to imagine that any one of you listening to this is gonna miss out, that I'm going to be there and you won't. I want you to be there, and then I want you to not only be there, but the person who you're supposed to reach should also be there. Let's all be there. Let's all just pull each other in, so that when we're singing and when we're rejoicing in the Lord and praising and worshiping Him, that we are all there. Yeah, that's the hope. Let's first have the hope of eternity, then the hope that Jesus has us even when we're still here. Yeah? So let's pull each other in. Let's hold each other accountable, and let's, bring each other to the Lord. Yeah? So none of us misses out. It's like having a really good present, but you can't enjoy it alone. You want to share it with others. So as we respond to that call to share the gospel with others in whichever platform and in whichever way we do, I pray that God be with you. You can like, you can share with someone who you think this would benefit, because I just want to encourage you, whether you're a believer or not, that one day you shall be a believer. Yeah, and you shall come to this side of the family. So again, I hope you're having a great day, and God be with you.